Young Friends of the Earth is a Dutch organisation, also European-wide organised, and as an organisation we try to inspire young people to take action on environmental issues such as climate change or sustainable farming and that kind of stuff. But we also try to move politicians, companies and general public to a more sustainable lifestyle. Okay. Young Friends of the Earth Netherlands has around 50 to 100 young people that are kind of active on a yearly basis. You know, first of all, it's good to show, this is what's happening. This is the current state of the world. This is how we produce things, and this is another way you could produce things, or in a more clean way, and it's the same product. So what we do is show this is what's happening at the moment. That's not the best. You know, if you look at mobile phones, you know, the mining in Congo and the labor's rights in China.
But do they know subjects about that? Do they have?
They're not always. Some have a notion, but many of them don't.
Okay.
And then you could say, okay, how could you improve that?
Yeah.
So what we try to do is not trying to take away, you know, say, okay, you can't do it anymore because it's produced like this, but there are alternatives to.
And are the kids you work with, are they open to this, or are they more like, oh no, I have my phone and it's fine, or something like that, or what are the reactions you get?
So they're open to the kind of general knowledge of, okay, this is what's happening, but they find it then difficult to put that into action. What's the purpose of education? Is it good to educate people, or do you first start, you know, really kind of bringing about change? You know, what's the right step? And we just see that so many students in schools, they have no clue whatsoever about so many of these sustainable things that we address, like where does your mobile phone come from? Policymakers of today, so the old people, they are making policies that affect our future, and they need to be lived by the young people of today. So they need to make good policies now to, you know, for the future basically. Yeah. But you also need young people to understand why the policies are made in a kind of sustainable way. Yeah. At the current state. So I think, you know, you need both tracks. But so Young Friends of the Earth really tries to more sit on this education, but that's not our only part. You know, we also try to get young people to for example, with school canteens, to demand of their school directors that there's more vegetarian meals, or that the meat is organic, or kind of made kind of animal friendly and so on. So, you know, we also try to create a critical mass with these young people. Okay.
Are you a vegetarian yourself?
I am.
You are. What do you do personally to?
What do I do personally? I'm a vegetarian. I think that's already a big part of how you could change your lifestyle. Even one day eating less meat is already is good. On the other hand, I also try to get much of my food out of supermarkets that have thrown away their food that runs out of date. Okay. So skipping, you call that, or dumpster diving. Which is
Does that save you money also?
It saves a lot of money.
Okay.
I try not to fly, and when I fly, I really make a clear, conscious decision that I fly. But so I generally don't fly, but once 5 years, I do take a plane when I need to visit a relative that is very ill, or, you know, kind of something urgent.
Across the ocean.
Across the ocean, or where you fall in love with somebody across the sea. That's terrible, actually. It's not very sustainable. If you look at quick change, then I guess one of the biggest steps towards fast change is basically energy reduction. Our society is so inefficient with our energy use. If you look at, for example, supermarkets that have their fridges open, and people can just pick their milk and yogurt from the fridges. While if you just put those in front of them, what you have at home as well, you can reduce 40 to 55% of the energy that one supermarket produces. So Friends of the Earth has now just done a campaign on fridges and in supermarkets, and now 60% of the Dutch supermarkets are committed of closing down their fridges. So, and we cut energy, so as well carbon emissions for around 100,000 households in the Netherlands, which is a tremendous cut of energy. That would really make fast radical changes, rather than starting to debate about, do we need to change our coal and oil to solar energy or wind energy, or many people say that nuclear is a solution, which I do not believe in. Our new government has actually, we were in the old government, there was a higher commitment to combating climate change. There was even the figure mentioned of 30% reductions by 2020, and our new government has scaled this down completely, and they've scaled down funding for sustainable solutions. Basically, it's going to be a challenge the next 4 years to kind of get their sustainability program, or they don't really have one actually. Young Friends of the Earth has been involved in the 10-10 campaign over the last year, and in 128 countries around the world there's people actually standing up saying, okay, if governments don't do anything, we just have to do it ourselves. So companies, people, schools, organizations, they have all said, okay, we're committed on reducing our energy and changing to a more sustainable lifestyle. So I think that's one of the ways where you could say, okay, this is not working internationally. Nationally, some governments are progressive, others are actually counter-progressive, which therefore the UNFCCC is completely stuck. So people's power, basically, people stand up, and in the UK there's around 70,000 people working, with the 10-10 campaign, saying we're going to reduce our energy by 10% in 2010. And if we carry this on, and if we can show this to our governments and say, come on, we can do this, we want this, it's also, it's kind of demand, if that's the demand, then they might get into motion.